What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we are going to address why the White House is actually worried about what's coming. Because again, it's no secret that Republicans and Democrats have struggled just to get along over the past couple of years. And many are now concerned with the way negotiations have been handled in previous bills. But did you know that the White House is extremely worried about upcoming bills because of this, because of the way the negotiations have been handled? And I want to address everything that's going on within the White House, what's going on within Congress, and how this is potentially going to impact you and your wallet. All you got to do, and all I'm asking, if you can spend 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, click the subscribe button, and let's get right down to the video. So, one of the lead negotiators for the Fiscal Responsibility Act, this is the bill that was able to suspend the debt ceiling until January 1st, 2025. Her name is Shalanda Young. She's the director of OMB, which is the Office of Management and Budget. Now, the debt ceiling, according to her, she says, is not a place for plain partisan politics. But the problem is that in D.C., once you set a precedent, according to her, she says, it is hard to get out of. So, she is concerned. She's not the only one, though. Now, the reason why she is referring to this is because President Biden said he would not negotiate. The debt ceiling must be a clean bill, that they need to raise the debt ceiling or suspend it. That is it. Well, ultimately, he did negotiate. This is exactly what happened back in 2011 under former President Barack Obama as well, because he said he would not negotiate, and in the end, he did. This is why Shalanda Young is saying that it sets a terrible precedent, because now if President Biden comes out and says, no, I'm not going to negotiate, or Democrats say, no, we will not negotiate with you guys, guess what? They could, and they probably will, because that's the precedent that has been set. But why does all this matter now? Because the bill has already been passed. The reason why this matters now is because the White House is worried about upcoming bills. What is the next bill? Well, we have two things that were proposed yesterday, and it's just that simple. So yesterday, House conservatives proposed new legislation, and at this time, this is for Social Security and for student loans. Two things that Democrats say, Social Security, let's just tax the wealthy and we will be fine. For student loans, let's just forgive the student loan debt. That's what Democrats are proposing. Republicans say, no. We cannot just tax a certain group of our economy just because they're doing well. That's no way to run this country. And the other one is, why are we going to let the American people, who some didn't get to go to college because they couldn't afford it, why are we now going to raise their taxes in order to pay for student loan debt for people that did sign on and did go to college and might have a better career path? That doesn't make sense. Well, we've been talking about this for a while, and we've been talking about Social Security a lot lately, and for good reason. Social Security must be reformed, or we may run the risk of seeing a 22% cut in just 10 years. But it's not only that. Lawmakers also believe that every year we let this issue continue, that it is going to make it harder to get a deal done. Now, when it comes to student loans, according to multiple reports, the Supreme Court is likely going to rule against President Biden, and he will require student loan debt to be repaid by the borrower and not be forgiven by the U.S. government. Now, in order to address this problem, though, Republicans have proposed a plan. The plan isn't to just let it go, let's forget about it, and hopefully things will be fine in 10 years. No. Let's address Social Security first. Here's what I can tell you. Yesterday, on Wednesday, June 14th, the 176-member House Republican Study Committee, they proposed increasing the full retirement age for Social Security recipients from age 67 up to age 69. Originally, this was supposed to be age 70. However, they took a little step back. Now, I don't believe this is going to become law as it is right now, but the reason why I bring this up is because I think this is where they start. Senate Democrats are never going to agree to pass a bill that increases Social Security's full retirement age from 67 up to age 69. Not going to do it. President Biden would never sign this bill. But again, this is good to look into because it starts to show where the starting point for negotiations might be. Okay? And again, I don't think this is going to be the exact bill, but this could be where Republicans start. And like I've said before, it's not going to go from age 67 up to age 70. It's just not going to happen. In my personal opinion, I think it's probably going to go up to age 68, possibly age 69. But that's it. Okay? But this group has also stated that under this plan, nobody is going to see a cut, which is partially true. Okay? However, under this plan, those that are anticipating early retirement benefits, so you actually go and take benefits early, so you don't wait till age 69, right? You get 65, 66, 67, 68, whatever, right? You would see a lifetime payout would be lower than what it would be if you waited until full retirement age. But again, that's with everybody. It's not just something that would happen if this bill were to pass. No, that happens now. So yes, are there going to be cuts? There could be if you take retirement early, but at the same time, that is something people are allowed to do now as well. And yes, your lifetime payout is also lower. Now, another change from this proposal would be to further privatize Medicare. Now, Republicans don't want to increase Medicare's full retirement age. That's not something that they proposed in this piece of legislation, but they do want to move to further privatize the program. Okay? Now, Republicans continue to say that Democrats are the ones that are cutting Social Security, not them. And I want to be very clear on this. They are partially correct as well, because Democrats' plan at this point is to tax the wealthy, have the wealthy pay for Social Security benefits. However, they understand that Republicans are never going to vote for this. Just like Republicans understand Democrats are never going to pass a bill that they just put in place or proposed. So Democrats, and this is where Republicans are coming out and saying that Democrats are comfortable keeping Social Security where it's at. And if this happens, then in 2034, we are going to see Social Security recipients receive a 22% cut to their benefits as a result of Social Security becoming insolvent because of Democrats, not Republicans. So that's where things are at regarding Social Security. Now, let's get to student loans. Now, I want to read, I was going to put this all together, but I'm just going to read you this article because this article it clearly sums up what is in this bill. Now, here's the reason I want to read it. This bill, or this piece of legislation, this proposal is made up of 5 different bills, okay, to tackle the crisis that is student loans. Let's go and let's read through it. Okay, so what is the Republican student debt legislation? What's in it? Well, the first bill, dubbed the College Transparency Act, would reform the college data reporting system to make information about outcomes at universities, such as graduation rates and debt after graduation, more accessible. Right now, most people have no clue what exactly it's going to cost them if they go and were to get a degree. Well, this is where things are different, because whenever you go somewhere and you buy something, you want to know the exact price. You don't just go and buy something. Most people don't just have so much money that they can go and spend money without actually knowing the final price. So, it says right here, Cassidy on Wednesday mused that Americans don't buy cars or houses without comparing prices. And this is exactly true. Quality and financial operations options, he suggested that similar resources for higher education should be readily available. That's in the first bill. The second bill, right here, titled the Understanding the True Cost of College Act, would require colleges and universities to use uniform financial aid letters that are clear on the costs associated with attending the institution. This actually was introduced back in 2019, but Grassley said Wednesday that uniform letters would make it easier for prospective students to compare offers across schools. And that's exactly true. Because let's say you go and buy a car, and you want to go and buy this car, it's $50,000. You go to one bank and they give you, okay, well, with us, this is what it's going to cost. Then you go to this bank, this is what it's going to cost. You go to this bank, this is what it's going to cost. And they might all be very similar, but one might be cheaper than the other. Well, if you have this all set out and laid out in front of you, it's much easier to make an informed decision. The third bill, called the Informed Student Borrowing Act, would require prospective students to be provided with additional information about their loans, including the duration of their loan, their expected monthly payment, and how much money they're likely to make after attending their school and program of choice, according to Daines, who introduced the bill Wednesday. Now, I just want to be very clear on this. When it says their expected monthly payment and how much money they're likely to make after attending their school, this is difficult, okay? Honestly, I don't think something like this makes any sense. Why would, if a school comes out and says, you're likely to, if you go and get this arts degree, you're likely to make $1 million. Well, maybe not, right? If you're, some world famous artist, possibly, right? If you go for business management, okay, well, you're likely to make, $5 million per year. Because if we look at our past graduates who may run, big businesses, who may have they may have a startup, and it's a, $20-50 million startup, like, okay, great. But how likely is that? So again, I think this is an interesting bill, but I don't think this one is really going to work. It says students would be required to acknowledge they receive counseling material and participate in entrance counseling each year. The fourth bill, the Streamlining Accountability and Value of Education for Students Act, or also known as SAVE, introduced by Senator Cornyn, would reduce the 9 different student loan repayment options offered by the Department of Education to just 2 options. Okay, be the standard 10-year repayment plan and the repay program, which allows low-income borrowers with low balances on their loans to receive forgiveness sooner. That's much easier. Instead of going from the 9 different student loan repayment options, there are now just 2. But there's also a reason why they have 9. It is because it usually makes it a little bit easier. They got more options, right? It says the bill would also limit loans to undergraduate programs where former students can earn more than a high school graduate, or graduate programs where ex-students can't earn more than a bachelor's degree recipient. Cornyn argued that the legislation would not disadvantage liberal arts educations, which can correlate with lower income after graduation. The fifth bill, the Graduate Opportunity and Affordable Loans, or GOAL Act, would end Graduate Plus loans, which have no borrowing limit, in an effort to pressure graduate schools into lowering costs. Tuberville, who introduced the bill, called these loans inflationary and said they have contributed to the increased cost of college. Those are the 5 bills. And I just wanted to run these by you because, now again, do I think this whole thing is going to pass, this package? No, I don't. But what I think is happening right now, and this is why the White House is so worried over what's coming, is because they are now seeing where Republicans are standing. This is their starting point. They're starting here. Democrats over here, they have to find some middle ground. Right now, we do not have one party that controls everything, the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So because of that, they have to find a bipartisan middle. All right? So this is what's going on. This is why I want to bring this to your attention, because as of right now, the negotiations are starting. And these negotiations are actually worrying the White House and many involved. So as we get more information as to what is going on here, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All you got to do is 2 things. First off, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy the daily updates, and also click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I will see you guys on the next one.